Hi folks, welcome to Follow a Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast, and we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/FTLcast. Today we're returning to a system we've played before. We hope you enjoyed it because we're doing it again. We're playing Karma by Gareth H. Graham. For those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. Karma is a narrative story creation game about people surviving in difficult circumstances, where the goal is to tell and partake in amazing stories with your friends. It is part theatre, part storytelling, and part role-playing game. Unlike traditional role-playing games, Karma focuses on collaborative storytelling rather than having one player function as the game master. In Karma, everyone will contribute equally to the telling of the story by acting out scenes and role-playing them with the other players. There is no winner or loser in Karma. The prize is an amazing, dramatic story that you and your friends will remember for a long time to come. I'm Jade, and you can find me at JadeOxfordRose on Twitter, and my pronouns are they, them. Playing with me today we have...
I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and you can find my portfolio website at samkalo.com. It'll probably be connected to that by the time this goes up. I use he, him pronouns.
My name is Mab. You can find me on Twitter at LittleLadyMab. You can keep an eye out there for things that I'll be talking about some point in the future. And also, by the time this goes live, you can check out the games that I will be running at Gen Con this year in August. And I don't know what they are yet at the time of recording, but I will by the time you hear this, and that's what matters. My pronouns are she, her, and let's get started. Almost.
Yeah, I got a thing I gotta say first.
I know, almost.
Almost. But that is it for players today. We've had a couple of big group games, but now we're getting a bit smaller, a bit more intimate.
We got Sam with his nice new suave radio personality voice.
Yeah.
Hello, my brand new suave radio personality voice brought to you by I have a chest cold. I have a chest cold.
My favorite sponsor.
And my microphone is now above my head rather than sitting on my desk.
Nice. Our lines. Things we absolutely do not want to see are homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, and unwanted pregnancy. Our veils, which are things we're fine with addressing but will just fade to black on, are steamy situations, graphic descriptions of bodily harm, and terminal illness. Now that we've got all that out of the way, we'll get started.
All right.
Alrighty. Do you know what playbook you used when you did the Demon Hunters game?
We made one up.
Oh, sweet.
Fun.
All right. Okay. Cool. I was just going to make romance even better. All right, then. So, as I said before, we're returning to Karma, which we haven't played since season 1.
Yep.
Where we had the haunting of Hindley Manor, which is one of the presets available in the book, and then Mab, Dora, and a couple of the others did a homebrew game involving demon hunters. But both back in our catalogue, you should go check them out. But you don't need to have heard either of those to understand this one, unless you want to maybe get a preview on how the game is played. But it's us, so who knows how accurate that depiction of the rules may or may not be.
But just consider, if you go and listen to the Ghost Hunters game, you get some real good content. Because I still love that arc so much.
That's one of my favourite arcs, absolutely.
One of my favorites.
But today, we are returning to the core book and playing out the loot dilemma. The adventure is over. You have reached level 13 of the deepest dungeon and slain the dreaded menace that once guarded the legendary treasure. One thing remains for you and your adventuring companions to do. Claim the loot. Here it is before your very eyes. The treasure itself, visible only in the light of your sputtering torches. There is not quite as much as you had anticipated. Not even close. This is a problem. So, do we want to introduce our characters first, or do we want to do the world-building questions first, and then we can introduce who we are?
A couple of the questions in the world-building questions are stuff like, who is the natural leader and the appointed leader, so maybe we should introduce our characters first.
Yeah, I would say we do characters, and then world-building, and then character questions, because some of the character questions depend on what we answer for the world-building.
All right. We haven't decided on all of our relationships either, so if we want to just give the basic descriptions, we can then, once everybody's character's introduced, we can figure out any outstanding relationships, and then we can do world building and character questions if that sounds good.
Got it.
All right. So, Sam.
All right, yeah, I'm the first one in the doc. So I'm playing a character named Adlai, who I have not played yet on this podcast because I kind of made him up in the past week. He is a warrior, but sort of in parentheses I've written, he's a paladin, kind of, still. He's a sort of tall, older gentleman. He's got very long hair, pulled back into a ponytail. He seems haunted, definitely has depression, very prone to anger, very, I am the law. His virtue is that he is pious, and his vice is that he is vengeful. And then I haven't done relationships yet.
I am going to be playing Quixote once again. And in this iteration, they are the mage or wizard. They, them pronouns. They're very soft, maybe 5 foot even, maybe. Very soft in build. Long red hair worn pinned up because when it's down it falls to their lower back. Freckled tan skin and large brown eyes flecked with gold. They wear robes of green and a similar gold worn over fawn-coloured leggings and soft brown boots. Their virtue is forgiving, their vice is rash, and the relationship I have got figured out is with Tamil, Mab's character, and the relationship is gregarious.
And I will be playing Temel Jumos, who is a rogue, uses she, her pronouns. Her description is average height, a little wafy, tan skin, and wavy dark hair. In particular, I'm using Aisha Hart from BBC's Atlantis as a face claim. She always looks super relaxed, but does have some small bit of movement about her at all times, whether if she's moving or... Is that a mysterious breeze underground shifting your hair around? Who really knows? You don't, she won't tell. Her virtue is active and her vice is boastful. Her relationships, I don't have one with Sam's character yet. And with Quixote, it's arcane secrets in as much as Temel wants their arcane secrets, but otherwise it's pretty friendly.
So, Sam, what relationships would you like Adelaide to have? Or how do you want to characterize Adelaide's relationships with Quixote? And was it Temel or Tamil? Or
Temel.
How's the... Temel.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got it.
What sounds interesting?
So these are the relationships up here?
Yeah. These are the ones suggested by the playbook.
So, how old is Quixote?
Quixote? They'll never tell. They could be somewhere from early 20s to mid 30s. It's real hard to pin down.
Fair enough. I'm gonna say Adelaide's in his 50s-ish.
Just for our listeners, the relationships that the book suggests can be paranoid, sibling, gregarious, have an oath of fealty, be heavily indebted, devoted, a secret pact, arcane secrets, army buddies, needs affirmation, resentful, or friendly.
I'm gonna say he's not a friendly person, but insofar as Adelaide can be friendly, I feel like he feels pretty friendly towards Quixote, at least. And deeply suspicious of Temel, because Temel just acts like a thief.
It's a good thing she's openly a thief.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, he's deeply suspicious of Temel and keeping a very close eye on Temel.
So is it paranoid levels of, or are you sort of just...
I don't think it's paranoid. Is it paranoid if it's really happening?
suppose it depends what you think she's going to do.
Dude's a fucking cop, my man.
Mm.
So I'm gonna actually type these in, so...
I'm actually tempted to change my relationship with Temel if you're down, Mab, because I kind of really like the thought of them being related, but not maybe sibling level of related.
Like third cousins?
Or like half siblings or something. You see that a lot in the game that we don't mention by name because it's DM'd and is everywhere. But like, I don't know, that could be fun, but it doesn't have to be. Just, I thought about maybe shifting Gregarious around. I don't know. The bugging about arcane secrets felt like it could be very familial.
It could be. I don't have any reservations about that. That would be fun either way.
Yeah, Coyote's never had a sibling before. The thought amused me as much as anything.
Yeah, I've never quite figured out a lot of Temel's family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if I mentioned this the first time that I played them on stream, but I wrote them into a short story, and so like a lot of what I use and build around them is based on that short story, and then the little that I've known for that extended universe I created. I never thought about her family anything further, so having relationships in that way would be fun.
If you're down for it, we'll go for it, but I'm also happy to not. I don't want to force it on you, because the thought just occurred to me going, oh, that would be fun.
That is always fun.
Alright, do we want to... Oh, here we go. We could go that I know that we're related and you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
That's good
so,
shit.
Should I call it familial or sibling?
Familial's fine.
Alright. Familial. And for Adlai.
How do you feel about Adlai? Or Adlai? I think it's Adlai.
Adlai. Okay. Kind of feel wary, to be honest. Not like suspicious, just like in that way you don't know how somebody's going to react to things. It's that prone to anger that's really making me go,
Yeah.
So, or cautious.
Cautious is probably a good thing to be around this asshole.
Okay, I'll go with cautious. As we're making up our own as we go here.
Yep.
Because hell yes. And what about Temel's relationship with Adlai?
How does Temel feel about Adlai?
I think, I'm trying to figure out what a good term for it is, because it is just kind of like, okay, boomer.
Oh my god. I mean, you just fucking write that. That's fine.
You can just write, okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer. Yeah. Except he's also a cop and can arrest you, so...
Yeah. Whatever the extremely cautious version of okay, boomer is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you put her in jail, she'll get out of it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so that's our characters and their relationships to each other. Let's roll up and do the world building. What's pretty cool about this is you effectively do it round the table. You can talk it out as you go, but each person will answer a question. And we'll go round and round till they're done.
Oh god, does that mean I have to start?
It does mean you have to start.
Okay. What is the nature of the treasure for which you have strived so long and suffered so much? I feel like maybe it's a library full of important texts and also like various important artifacts that are quite expensive. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a library full of like, it's like, you know, those like the rich people who have private libraries that are also like half museums.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but from like 500 years ago and was abandoned.
Yeah, I just went to Huntington Library, which is literally just that. And like, yes, I will drool over their Canterbury Tales and their Gutenberg Bible, but like also, it's just a big giant fancy house owned by rich people that's now been turned into a museum.
Yep.
I like the thought that it's like this private collection of, like this private library, or was, before like a tower collapsed or something.
And then like magic preserved the contents, but nobody's been brave enough to go seeking it because we're like the highest level adventurers in the land now, right? Or whatever.
Are we?
Yeah, maybe.
I think we're supposed to be, right? Isn't that the sort of the conceit of this karma?
I guess if we made it this far.
It's the idea is that you're competent enough to get into this dungeon when other people haven't.
Yeah.
You could be lucky.
We could just be lucky, you're right.
Yeah, but I like that. So this is just like a wizard's private library / collection. I guess I'm actually technically next in the turn order. Just I get messed up with the leading and all. So, what about the treasure is not what you were expecting? Aside from there being significantly less of it, as per the playbook. Man, I'm not sure.
I have a suggestion if you're willing to be open to suggestions.
Yeah.
Maybe when the wizard left, because nobody's been here since the wizard left, the wizard took actually a lot of it with him, and nobody knew that until now.
Yeah. I mean, that sort of is what the premise of it is, isn't it? Is that there's less.
Yeah. But maybe
I like that flavor.
The wizard took all the important and valuable and like all of the books that we actually wanted were taken.
That's going to kind of underscore one of my personal questions.
Oh, right.
But that's all right. That's what. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Or like what was valuable maybe like back when the wizard left, like 100 years ago, and so now there's stuff in there that maybe is valuable, but we don't know that.
Maybe it's there we go. Maybe that's what it is. It's the information we were given about what was down here doesn't match up. Like, either he took stuff like this, like effectively, if we had a shopping list of stuff to expect, like the equipment we've got to recover it back, like it's not right.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. The specifics we were expecting don't appear to be here. And there are items we did not expect to find that are. Okay.
Let's see. Is the treasure exactly as it seems, or is there something hidden? I absolutely love the idea that there is definitely something hidden. If we're like exploring the library of a big famous wizard and his private collection, then there's going to be like little hidey cubby holes that were forgotten or overlooked, or if any other wizards moved in after this other one left, and who knows. This is what we're here to find out. So I think there is definitely something hidden.
Sweet. A thought occurs to me as we answer that question. If we are the only 3 people in this adventuring party, because there's a question further down about did everyone survive? Spoilers for 5 questions time. I was just thinking, do we have any other people with us at this point? Or is it just the 3 of us now? Because I'm happy to like NPC and stuff as we go. Or do we want it just to be the paladin, the rogue, and the mage left?
I mean, that's always a good strong combo.
I do like the idea that like we're all that's left of what was once a larger adventuring party.
Works for me. I love that. Cool. That will help answer a question later, but sweet. The thought occurred to me, and I maybe should have said it before we started, but cool. Next question.
Oh, is it my turn again?
Yep. There's one issue with there being 3 of us. It will cycle around real quick.
Is everyone entitled to an equal share? Well, according to Adlai, no.
Interesting.
But Adlai believes that thieves should not be given a share of Adlai's very much on the side of all of this needs to go directly to our benefactor and also to the government.
What's a government?
I am the law.
But I like that. Like, technically we're supposed to be taking it back and then paid for it.
Yeah.
Paid for our services. Which does make the fact that there's less interesting.
Yeah. Is everyone entitled to an equal share? Technically, no. We're supposed to bring it somewhere.
But there could have been, like, the amount of that we bring, the worth would then be calculated and we would be, was it compensated accordingly?
Yeah.
For the value of goods we bring back. Because that makes it significant that there's less.
True.
All right.
That's also an attempt to get people to not steal.
Yeah. Okay, what was the final revenge of the slain menace? I feel like it had to have taken out, like, a party member that we all liked.
The one that actually made us get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stabling influence is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So effectively, maybe it was the original party leader has gone.
Yeah, so that, yeah.
I'm putting it killed our leader and main healer because that adds some stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we fuck each other up, that's bad.
I like how you say fuck each other up, because it's like, oh, nothing left but for us to do it now.
Okay, who wants to volunteer their character also from the Follow the Leader roster as our fallen leader?
I mean, I like the idea that it was Galen.
I was like, who's a good healer?
Healer? No idea. Leader? Galen?
It could be or Kari, and everyone can be real upset with me on Twitter.
I'm always upset with
Oh, no.
Kari is such a paladin, though.
Kari is such a paladin.
Maybe Kari and Adlai got together.
And I'm like, did they now?
What I meant was got along because of their faith.
I'm looking back through this just to see, because I'm just being a shitheel right now. I'm trying to think of my other characters. Max is not going dungeoneering.
No.
She's too smart.
I don't...
I mean, Kata?
Oh, Kata.
Kata's not a healer, at least.
Kata's not a healer, no.
We've right. This is a thing that needs to be addressed by us in future games. We don't play a lot of fantasy, to be fair.
I really want to play more, but also we don't have any healer types.
Okay, well, she's my character, Juniper.
Okay.
Who, if you didn't hear, is my character from The Riot Starts. So, who Sam does know. So
Yes. Oh, yes, I do know this character.
yes. So Juniper Aurelius was our leader and a cleric, and was killed.
Oh, wait, we're saying that the leader was also a healer. I thought we were trying to come up with
Yes.
two different characters
No.
that we lost.
No. Well, it was both.
So then you can say both? Both. Both is good.
Both is good. But yeah, so there we are. So, next question.
Where are we? Is the group in the dungeon? Okay, sorry, I should actually read it out loud, not to myself.
For our listeners.
Perhaps.
For our listeners at home. Perhaps the fact that this is an audio medium. Is the group in the dungeon for its own gain or at the behest of some benefactor above ground? If the latter, who or what is the benefactor? I sort of addressed this in Temil's personal questions. She is there on behalf of a benefactor. I kind of like the idea of it not being the same benefactor as what hired everybody else, but it sounds like we like the idea of it being the government as our backer, or like someone within some governmental sphere that hired us to go and bring this back.
Sure, I like that. I like that a lot. I was going to say, that could be Galen.
That could be Galen. I like that idea.
Because we also do have Sam in the follow game that we played at the beginning of season 2. That's where Galen and Temil meet, technically. So I kind of like that idea of being distantly. Perhaps they could be related.
Maybe it's the same universe.
Yeah.
I like Galen as a government man, as sort of.
Yeah, I mean, Galen's the king.
Oh, so I might be crossing my wires with a different character of yours.
Oh, wait. How do you spell Galen's name?
Galen.
I forgot E.
Yeah, I was crossing my wire with a different character of yours, but it's all good.
Were you thinking of Garion?
Yes.
Yeah, Garion's a dumb twink, but he's not good at anything. Galen is also not good at being king, but he's better at being king than Garion is at doing anything except sewing.
All right. So, next question.
Who among us is seen as the natural leader?
Who among us is left?
That's left?
Yeah.
You mean the three of us?
Of the three of us? I mean, Adlai would certainly say himself.
Well, that sounds more like the answer to the next question, which who among you is the appointed leader?
Adlai?
All right, so we'll say that. So, do we think Temil or Coyote is more sort of actually kind of now leading?
Oh, Temil would not want that responsibility, so it can be Coyote's. Have fun.
All right. And then, so the next question then, Mab, which is yours to answer, is who is the brains of this outfit?
Ooh. Like, within our trio, do you think? Or, like, in general?
I feel like it's implying, because obviously the game can be for 3 to 5 players, I feel like it's amongst the player characters.
Yeah.
I will state this, part of the reason why I specified that Coyote is a mage is because I'm imagining more of a sorcerer vibe than a learned wizard type.
Yeah.
Oh. See, I was going to say maybe Coyote, but I can definitely see that. More of a...
I don't think Coyote is dumb, but...
Right. No, definitely the way that they cast magic.
Yeah, it's an innate thing rather than a learned thing.
Yeah. I mean, it could be Temel. She's kind of a manipulator, but...
I don't know that Adlai would let her get away with that.
If she's smart enough for him not to realize.
Exactly. And I'm like, do you think he's cognizant of the fact that also she's down here looking for something? She's got all you coming along, you know? You're all still here.
That works. I'm happy for that to be the case.
Sure.
I'm suspicious, but still, you know, I'm in charge here.
Right.
So
she's like, yeah.
Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
All right. Next question.
Oh god, is this me again?
Yeah.
Surprise!
Fuck. Okay. God, sometimes I think about the fact that I could not ever show any of my students our podcast because I have a potty mouth.
Me too.
But also because sometimes we talk about relationships and that would not fly. But also because I have a potty mouth. What was the most terrifying event that befell your party during your dungeon delve? How did it affect the group? Did everyone survive? So no, not everybody survived.
No, but because we're talking about, like, the final... We've literally just slain the menace is meant to be the vibe.
All right.
So was that the most terrifying event, or did something happen on the way down?
So are we saying that this is, like, a wizard's tower, like, at the bottom of a ravine or something? Or, like, a wizard's tower that fell?
Or it could be, like, an inverted wizard's tower.
Like,
so that's what...
I just...
Love it.
I mean... my brain always just like I super love that in Annihilation where it's not a tower. She keeps insisting it's not a tower, or that it is a tower even though it goes underground.
Oh, I love it.
Sorry, yeah, I love that a lot.
Yeah, an inverted wizard tower. So,
well, now I'm thinking about Annihilation.
Yeah, you know,
which is a no, that's good. I like that. I
good.
really like that movie. So, what if we encountered something? Maybe there was, like, a part of the tower / dungeon, whatever, that, because we could have managed the 4 of us before we lost Juniper. Like, but we could have had, like, a full-scale, full party before then, and what happened in that event, we lost, like, half of the people.
Or we could have had, like, 8, like, a full, like, 8-member party.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the idea of having, like, a large adventuring party, and then just layer by layer as you go down.
Like, we're left with a paladin, a rogue, and let's say a sorcerer for the sake of it, and we just lost our cleric. We could have had a barbarian and a ranger and a warlock.
Yeah.
Like, we could have had everything.
All right, so what was the thing that made us lose everybody, though? Like, what was the terrifying event? Maybe, like, one of the levels collapsed on us? And half the party didn't survive that. Like a cave-in?
What if it was like part of it was like a sentient space, and it like maybe it made people go, yeah, it made people see stuff and do stuff.
Delicious.
And it was like trying to like it's cliche, but maybe like part of the tower ate them.
Oh fuck. I love it. See, I was thinking like a part of the tower is sentient and was like showing the characters their greatest fear and accidentally made them kill each other. But like
also upsetting.
Both.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Maybe that's some extra grief to add on to Adlai.
Yeah, all right then. So as a part of the tower was like sentient, maybe it was like a genus Loki or something that the wizard, the old wizard, had invited to be there, and it was like something that could get in people's heads.
Mm-hmm.
And then it fed on fear, and when somebody was truly terrified, then chomp chomp.
Chomp chomp.
That's delicious.
Okay, so who acquitted themselves most admirably in the adventure thus far? The fact that I nearly called him Javert, so here we are. Adlai hasn't, gotten full to blows with Temel means that Temel has done something to prove herself, at least, I'm not going to arrest you immediately.
Yeah.
Maybe she saved his life at one point, or maybe just generally her conduct has done something to...
Oh, great. Another criminal saved my life. Great. Perfect.
That's your baggage, dear.
That's your ex-boyfriend that you have to deal with.
But yeah, so let's say it's Temel then, because Temel has proven herself.
Also, as a rogue, is incredibly squishy.
Yeah. So the fact that she's survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
Temel.
that.
Okay. Her tenacity / survivability. That's not how you spell that. So that little jagged line tells me. In spite of everything, saving Adlai's life. And for Coyote, I think it's getting to know her because of that familial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And proving the person she is. Okay.
All right. So what awaits your party on your return to the surface?
I really want it to be a betrayal.
I was going to say jail time, probably.
Jail time, probably. I mean, at least for Temel, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, what's not to stop Adlai from arresting Quixote for some reason, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or to stop Galen from just arresting all of them.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I like betrayal. Because the thing is, the party doesn't, the characters don't know the answers to these questions. We do.
Yeah.
So.
True.
All right. That's all the world-building questions. So now we have the little... Character questions. I think last time we did this, we did the question, and then everybody answered it, and then we did the next question, and everybody answered it.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right. So, first question. What do you plan to do with your share of the loot?
So I answered this before we finished the world-building question of, what are we doing here? What are we getting? But, because, my original answer was, to keep it from the hands of those who would misuse it, and to give it to the government upon his return, which he's still going to do, but now he's actually, kind of expected to do that.
Okay, so then what would he do with his payday?
With his payday, he might retire. I'm not sure. He probably wouldn't retire. He doesn't really know. He doesn't really expect to make it that far.
Well, that's sad.
I don't think he really expected to make it this far.
For Quixote, it's to fund and further their research.
Temel, I had also answered beforehand, which was no big lofty plans, which still is the same. And it's spend it, fence any fancier pieces that she can, sneak out. The usual.
All right. Second question. What have you not told your companions about your reason for coming on this expedition? AKA the juicy question.
It is the juicy question. Well, this is the answer to this one is the reason why Jade just called my character Javert. As we've been hinting towards, this is basically just an XP of Javert, but there's some differences, but not many. He left the city where he'd served as a faithful city guard. He was deeply devoted to his god after, a criminal showed him that he was wrong about the criminal. I have crossed out a criminal that I had a somewhat of healthy obsession with. And
very good.
Perhaps I was wrong about all crime? Oh Lord, was I wrong about the nature of the law? Cue existential crisis. So that's why he left. And he's like, yes, proving myself and my devotion to my god, who I didn't come up with a name with, but is the god of law and the god of, duty and order and all that shit.
All right. Again, this was before we came up with world-building questions, but I still like it. Amongst the treasure is a tome of significant knowledge and power. I'm going to say a specific tome, then, of significant knowledge and power that would have more monetary value to the right buyer than the rest of the treasure put together. Coyote wants it for themselves.
Interesting.
They've got their reasons.
Yeah, and as I had hinted during the world-building questions, Temel was hired independently to fetch a specific item from within the loot. I was thinking probably some, like, fancy ornate dagger or, like, a brooch or, a hairpin or something like that, you know? Something that she can sneak out easily. Maybe it's enchanted in some way. Maybe it's just got a really fancy cut gem on it, and this person was like, I need it for my collection of this other maker's work or something.
Maybe it's cursed. Who knows?
Maybe it's cursed. Who knows?
Can I find out? Yeah. Can I pitch something to you, Mab? Can Tamel's private benefactor be Kerrigan Kestrel? Because that feels like Kerry's bullshit in the best way possible. Just like, I'm not going down there. I'll pay somebody.
I'm not going down there. This is what money is for, so other people can go down there. I love her. She's a piece of shit.
Love it.
Yes. In which case, it is definitely going to be a fancy hairpin so that she can wear it to parties.
Fuck.
Yes, good.
Beautiful.
All right. What long-term effect has adventuring in the darkness below had on you?
So I just wrote depression much worse.
Fair.
Was already depressed, now more depressed, and still more unsure about his role in, the natural order of things. Dude kind of had his whole world overturned, and he's still not quite on steady ground after that. He's a little lost. Imagine if Javert, instead of throwing himself into a river, threw himself into a adventure that seemed like a death journey, or, kind of seemed like most of these people aren't gonna make it back. That's what you got here.
Fair. For Coyote, insomnia, and when they do manage to sleep, they have nightmares.
And for Temel, the lack of a fresh breeze makes it hard to breathe. So, lots of claustrophobia kicking in.
If you could choose one of your companions as the only other survivor to reach the surface, who would it be? So, who's getting out with you, if only two of you make it out?
So, I said Temel as a repayment for the life debt he owes her, but also so that she can face punishment for her crimes of stealing.
I also said Temel, for familial reasons, and also Adlai's kind of a prick. And if he's so desperate to die, then why should anyone else do it in his place?
Fair enough.
So, I read it wrong, and it was just like, hey, if you can't make it out, who would you want to make it out? And my answer was Adlai, whom I find the most obnoxious, so I don't have to be stuck down in the darkness with him a moment longer. But then I realized I did read it wrong. And so it's like, who? If I was to escape, who would go with me? And it would definitely be Quixote, because they are useful and entertaining.
That's fair. Yeah, no, Adlai's not like a great person to be around. Maybe he's learning better now, but maybe he'll learn better over the course of this game.
My initial read of it was definitely, if you're not going to make it out, who do you want to survive?
That's an interesting question, though, to be fair.
That is pretty fun.
So...
And it was, please just get him out of my life.
Uh-huh.
If I'm going to be stuck down here to die, I don't want to listen to him proselytizing to me.
You're so valid.
You need to give your life over to the Lord of Duty and Sacrifice.
Okay, no.
Now you said duty.
And the final question. Is it really about the treasure, or is there something else?
The friends we made along the way. Just kidding, it's not that.
It's definitely not that. I said it's about discovering the truth of my beliefs and myself. It's about finding who I am and what I believe. Or, dying, if that is to be my ultimate fate. I haven't done a very good job of this so far. Either the figuring out what I believe or the dying.
For Quixote, the treasure is a means to an end, and the end is what matters.
And similarly, Temel is just, it has always been and always will be, just to prove that I can.
Aww.
Nice. All right. So that is the world building and the character questions. What happens now is we do the scenes. We'll do an opening scene sort of for every character. They're designed to be very short, just sort of like establishing things. And then we'll move on. We get the book that says 5 scenes each of 2 to 5 minutes. That tends to not be how we roll, so we'll keep an eye on the time. But everybody gets the same number of scenes.
Got it.
I think we cut it down for the Demon Hunters, but that was just because there were so many of us.
Yeah, I think we did the full 5 when we did the mana.
I was to say Karma, but that is literally the game we're playing.
But yeah, just what will happen once we have done the opening scenes and we move into the main scenes, we will a player will frame a scene. We'll say who's present and all that. And once the scene is sort of in motion, one of the other players gets to introduce a complication. And that's where the scene can either go positively or negative from that point on for whatever the characters might want. And you roll a complication roll. And that's where the karma aspect of this game comes in. When you, the player, are making a complication roll, you can choose to add a positive dice to make it more likely that you'll succeed. And that slides your karma down. Or you can choose to increase your chance of making it worse and make your future karma better. So it's like the balance is that way. But yeah, on a complication, you make your roll, and then if it's a failure or a success, determines how the scene will finish, or at least the tone with which it finishes. And then once we've had all of the scenes, we'll do our finale based on the dice that everybody has left. You have 5 dice regardless. You have positive and negative dice, and it's that balance of them that helps determine you to take away your negative dice from your positive dice. And that's the basic dice mechanic, if I'm remembering that correctly. I did go over the notes on how to play it.
Sounds about right.
Okay, so let's get into the scenes. So, Sam, I'm going to do this opening scene. Basically, nobody will interfere with this. It's just a short little opening scene.
So this is us directly in the aftermath of the final boss of some kind. So, like, this is maybe a couple of days after that room ate half of our companions, and we've just lost our leader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of, like, what was the final, like, boss?
Could have been a dragon. Could have been anything.
Could have been a dragon. Might have been a dragon.
I have a monster manual right next to me. I could flip through it and then make some people very upset with us for copyright infringement, you know.
Just change a few letters when you say it.
A big grabber.
Bungeons and Blagons. Love that game.
That's why I said a big grabber rather than a hold. Yeah. I'm very funny.
You are very funny.
Did you
actually.
know?
You are. Yes. I'm gonna say maybe it was a dragon. You know, there was a dragon.
It works.
Not necessarily in the library, because I feel like any self-respecting wizard would know better. So it was maybe the chamber above the library that we killed a dragon, and our friend Juniper did not make it. And we are maybe now following that, you know, following our, like, maybe we piled rocks on top of her body and put her staff in the pile of rocks to say this is who was here. Maybe immediately following that, we make our way down the stairs into the cavern below. And opening these doors, we see shelves of books, and, you know, it's all gilded, it's all very gaudy. You know, there's pedestals displaying artifacts everywhere. Everything is covered with a heavy layer of dust, but is otherwise pristine. And it's magical as shit, is what it is. And I think that Adlai probably just kind of stops walking at the bottom of the stairs and gazes around. But the shelves are empty in some places, and they're a lot emptier than you'd expect. They're bare. There's like 2 or 3 books on a shelf that should be holding 50 books. And there's shelves that look mostly untouched, but on closer examination, they're all like hundreds of years outdated encyclopedias. You know? It's clearly been it's not as untouched as we were led to believe. I don't know. Is that a good scene framing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that.
No, that's good. That's good. This is like an hour or so later, and everyone is just sort of wandering around this lodge, and it feels safe in a way that some of them are like, we've made it, and we've shut the doors, and we're gathering stock. People need to be patched up. We're not going to be able to go back a bit out of here before we've tried to sleep some at least. And it's like Jade has been lighting the torches. There's like lanterns here, and they're going around like illuminating them.
Magical lanterns,
yeah. And they figured out the enchantment on them. So they're going around just sort of like lighting the lamps and just like filling this room, like trying to banish any kind of shadows from the space, and just highlighting what Adelaide already figured out, that there are massive gaps here. There's things that we weren't expecting. Just like there is no escaping the truth that we were either lied to, or somebody has been here, or that the information was wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
But we were given the wrong information, either consciously or unconsciously.
I'm going to go with the assumption that we were maybe just given incorrect information, but maybe we were led to.
Who knows?
Just keep telling yourself that, Adlai.
Yeah.
The law could never lie to you.
It's true.
I nearly snorted energy drink out my nose.
I'm so sorry. That has got to be really painful.
It did sting. It didn't come all the way through though, so it could have been worse.
Oh.
I'm so
Please,
sorry.
your opening scene, Mab. Please save me from myself. Oh,
I don't know if I can.
fair.
For Temel, I think it's definitely. I like the idea of it running like concurrently to Quixote's scene, and they're going around lighting the lamps, and Temel's keeping pace on the opposite end of the room, just sticking to the shadows of the lanterns that haven't been lit yet, and just not actually doing anything untoward. Thank you, I heard that snort. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure, of course not. But
I'm keeping an eye on you over the top of the bookcases that I can see.
Yeah. And she is kind of like tapping her finger like along the spines as she goes, but is does seem to just be kind of like breathing in, breathing out, and seems to be more like centering herself than she is actually trying to get a scope of the room in some way. But like keeping it to like the opposite end until she reaches the final end of the circle where the lanterns start being lit, and then she stops and takes another moment, breathe in, breathe out, and then just rolls her shoulders back to normal, which is probably some kind of shit-eating grin and ready to go.
Great. I'm sure that Adlai is thrilled to see this shitty grin.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
All right, now we get to move into the main scenes. So, frame a scene however you want. You can say who's in it. One thing that I had missed the first time I played, you can do a flashback scene, but as a player you only get to do that once throughout the game, but every player can do a flashback as a scene if they want to. And partway through it, when there's a good moment, Sam, either Mab or I will introduce a complication. We'll say, I have a complication. And then you can decide if you want to just roll for it then to see how it goes, or whether you want to change your odds either for the better or for the worse. But we can jump that when we get to it.
Got it. All right. So I should probably like include other characters in my scene. Now that we've all done our establishing scenes sort of on our own, I would say that Adlai is holding, the list of what we were sent down here to take. He's got it written down in, a scroll. Did he write it himself? Yeah, he did. We were given it like verbally, and like we're told, it's not hard to miss. He wrote every single thing down. He's been keeping like a very like tedious, very, very meticulous log of this entire journey.
He's making a list. He's checking it twice.
He's gonna find out if you're naughty, and then you're going the fuck to jail if you are.
It's the worst Santa Claus story ever. Or conversely, the best. Answers on a postcard. Please continue.
So he's gonna walk over to, I think, to Kyode, and he's going to say, I'm really not entirely sure what he gestures to the list. Half of these items are. But I figured that perhaps between the two of us we could collect what we were sent here to collect. Because he's still, he's kind of operating on the assumption that even if there's less than we were expecting to be here, the things that we were specifically sent for are still probably here.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, why else would we be sent down here?
Exactly.
Unless they were still here.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyori looks at him, or looks up. Is he tall? I'm imagining him being tall.
He's tall. He's not like Russell Crowe Javert. He's like the really tall, lanky ones. Like theater ones.
Okay. Well then, they're looking all the way up at him from their 5 foot even.
He's probably 6'5" or some shit.
Alright then, well that's ridiculous is what that is. The height difference, I mean. Being 6'5" isn't ridiculous.
That's a real thing that some people are.
Exactly, I know some people that are. My brother-in-law is, but irrelevant. Getting off topic. They look at the list and look all the way up at him. We can certainly try, but I don't think it's all here, Adlai.
He, shakes his head. He's like, ridiculous. Of course it is.
They squint a little bit.
Because he's also we wouldn't have wasted so much life. We wouldn't have... It has to be worth something, or else,
Well, look, but there are clearly things missing. I mean, look.
He's looking. He doesn't look, super confident, but he's definitely, trying to stand firm on this, well, of course, it's not as populated as we expected, but, I mean, we wouldn't have been sent for these items had they not been here.
Their look shifts into a little bit of a, oh, honey.
Don't give me that look. Part of me wants to be when you get to have as much experience as me, you understand. People can be incompetent, but this level of incompetence is unprecedented.
I know you're a man of faith, Adlai, but make sure you're putting it in the right place. And they're gonna, whip the list out of his hands.
He looks furious. He's like...
That was so delightful.
He doesn't say anything, but he looks like... How... Fine. As you were. And he just stalks off. Taking the rest of his journal with him, but he leaving you with the list.
Sure. Do you want to introduce a complication, Mab? Because I can't think of one right now.
I'm trying to think of one, and really, I think... Let's see. Not thinking of a good one, because I think, a lot of it is just, one of my initial thoughts was something might have happened to the list, or might, when... Was the list, in your journal, Adlai, and then it got yanked out, or, what?
I mean, his journal is, a loose collection of scrolls that are rolled together, but he took this one out. I mean, the complication could also easily be he just, stomped off without really looking where he was going.
I was kind of imagining that we were in not, a locked room, so there was nowhere to go.
I was thinking, a big room.
Yeah, I'm imagining it like a big library that we've shut the doors on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So it's one big room. There might be shelves and stuff to block eyesight, but I'm envisioning a big room.
You could go get lost in the stacks, off the side.
Ooh.
But
what if it's a big circular room, like the inverted tower vibe?
I want it to be circular, yeah.
And maybe these stacks and stuff lead to a center point, the spokes on a wheel.
Yeah. I want something to happen to the journal, or something within the journal to fall out. I don't know if it's a missive from your not X. He was totally a con man that you arrested. Yep.
I want to say, like, not X, but, like, they could have had something had Adlai not been a pretentious asshole and also a fucking cop.
Like, listen, like, a hashtag, we could have had it all. But, like, I don't know if it's, like, a piece of your journal, like, opening up to a page where you reflect on that, or it's a letter from him, or it's a letter talking about his fate or something like that.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I was like, there's an ooh in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, how about this? Maybe the complication is that when you spin away from Coyote Lake, you drop the collection. Because there has to be 2 potential outcomes, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the positive is you find something, a letter from a person or a prayer that you've written or something, or was written for you, something that affirms you, and you're like, no, this is right.
Like, especially right after Coyote's line.
Yeah, about putting your faith in the wrong thing. Alternatively, the thing that lands face up is something that sends you into a tailspin.
Oh, no. All right. What do I roll here? How do I roll here?
Right. You start with 2 positive dice. So it's just 2d6.
Got it.
And to get the positive outcome. And by the way, you can decide if the positive let's say the positive outcome is an affirmation that you feel right in yourself, that this is, yes, I will stay the leader. I know what I'm doing and I know I am on the right path. That's the positive outcome. The negative outcome is something that makes you question things further. And you can decide the specific of that.
Okay.
You'd roll 2d6 regardless. What you can do is add a third d6, which would be a positive dice. Alternatively, and so you increase your chance of success. Or you can add a negative dice, which will be deducted from your 2d6 if you'd rather fail.
Oh, so I get to make this decision.
And you don't have to add anything at all. But what's interesting about it is this will affect your final result if you keep doing this, because if you want to add a positive dice to mean you're more likely to succeed, underneath your questions you've got that karma pool.
Yeah.
If you're adding a positive dice, you go to the right. You move that X over to a box to the right. And if you add a negative dice, you go to the left. And you can see over the course of it, you're going to end up with either more positive dice or more negative dice. And that's going to impact the kind of story you end up with. It's basically Fiasco Light.
Got it. All right. Fiasco Light, but without the initial central pool of this is how many positive and negative dice we have. Yeah.
It's just set at that. As it currently stands, everybody starts with 3 positive and 2 negative. The maximum amount of positive dice you can get is 5 and 0 negative, and all the way up to the other end you can end up with 5 negative and no positive. Regardless, every complication roll, you'll still roll 2 positive dice, and then you can add another. So
I kind of want to add a negative here. I want to give him something to stress about. So
okay.
So I roll 3d6 or 2d6 minus
2d6 minus 1.
Minus 1d6.
Yeah, I'm going to put this in your karma pool so we've got tracks on where you are. So I've done that already.
Okay. 5.
That, I believe, is the negative. A result of 6 or less means things go badly for your character.
Cool.
So what does this look like?
I mean, this could look like anything. I'm trying to decide whether it's he leaves behind something that's important to him, or he leaves behind something that somebody else can find. Talking about his not ex. You know, maybe, I don't think it's a letter. I think it's like him really, like, with this writing, trying to work out why he's so desperately conflicted between his faith and, you know, the idea that maybe a criminal could actually be a good person. Or, like, why he wants to believe that this criminal is such a good person, that it's making him go against his faith.
And this is the negative outcome for him because it's revealing something of himself that's private?
Yeah. Like, I don't think y'all know about this dude at all. I don't think you know why Adlai is here.
Okay, so he swans off in a huff and this smaller piece of paper or scroll falls out of the collection and we see Coyote pick it up.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. And I want to be clear, to Coyote this reads as gay as hell, but, like, deeply repressed gay as hell.
I mean, this is a character played by me, so,
exactly.
You know, just like,
Deeply repressed. all sexual urges drag us further from the Lord, kind of deeply repressed.
Lord. The fucking Protestant church here in the UK fucking this week released this thing just like sex is for heterosexual married couples.
Okay.
They yeah.
Alright.
I remember seeing that on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just like, what the actual fuck? Or not, as the case may be. Anyway.
So what do we do with this like scene tracker thing? Do we just like check off when we've had our scene?
Yeah, I just put that in there so we knew where everybody was at, like what scenes had been done.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to put an X in everyone's box for the scenes that's done, and then as you go, you can just mark another one. Just we didn't want us to lose track. All right.
I appreciate that. All right, next scene.
Hi, it's Dora, and I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed us, please consider leaving a rating on iTunes, telling your friends about us, or tweeting about our show using the FTLcast hashtag. No, seriously, we crave the validation and it helps us out. Your support really means a lot. Thanks again!